Support the channel on patreon.com/manlightfoot.
We need outside help. The governor, CIA, the FBI.
I know someone who might be able to help.
You got a Snoopy ear!
Halitosis!
You ever have that one movie that you hear of and you think no way in hell could that work, and then you see it and somehow it does work? That's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. At no point when it was announced back in 2014 did anyone think this movie was going to turn out the way it did. Everyone probably thought it would most likely just be something akin to those Alvin and the Chipmunk movies, but marginally better. But no, we got basically a modern Who Framed Roger Rabbit with a bunch of meta humor and commentary out the bank. All for the Rescue Rangers. And don't get me wrong, I love the Rescue Rangers. They were my favorite among the Disney afternoon slate. I really enjoyed the series, like immensely, to the point of reading fan comics of Mice and Mayhem for life. But the way this movie was not expected in the least. Not with a Disney property nowadays. So, what's the story? Chip and Dale are two childhood friends who made a TV series called Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers back in the 90s. In the present, the show has been canceled and the group have moved on in their lives, with Chip being an insurance salesman and Dale trying to relive the glory days through conventions and continuing acting. One day, the two get a call from their friend Monterey Jack talking about owing money to a dangerous group that makes old tunes into those bootleg versions of famous animated movies you've seen, like Ratatouille. Soon after, Monty gets kidnapped and it's up to Chip and Dale to find Monty and put a stop to this insidious bootleg scheme. Now, from that synopsis, you probably would have thought I was insane, but I'm dead ass serious with this. It's done completely in the vein of Roger Rabbit, with just being a world where cartoon characters exist. They up the ante a bit with the constant references to different animation styles and techniques. They even take shots at those uncanny animated films from the 2000s and also Cats 2019. It's kind of funny, they just constantly say, "Oh my god, Polar Express face," or something like that, or point out the dead eyes or the weird animation movements. It's just really funny. They even throw in claymation and puppetry, but weirdly no Muppets. Kind of a missed opportunity, especially since Disney owns the Muppets, but oh well. The characters managed to work well in this sense. Chip is pretty much that begrudged, washed up actor who just gets by on a mundane job. He's pretty cynical, which kind of fits with how he was on the show, or at least how his character is on the show in the movie. Okay, you see how this is weird? But anyway, Dale is basically Dale. Still the lovable oaf who messes things up and all that. He is just honestly that same character you would expect him to be. The one thing though is they play up Chip and Dale's friendship, which you didn't get too much in the show. You see a lot of their upbringing as kids to adults and get a good sense of why the duo works. You even get sort of a makeshift origin story that obviously is not the official story, but it works well enough. There's this thing where Chip and Dale faked their voices for the show they were on. It was probably done because you probably wouldn't be able to take a whole movie with fake voices that seriously. Granted, with stuff like all the meta jokes, you wouldn't do that anyway, maybe. Though one thing I'd like to point out is that for those that ship Gadget and Chip, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. They straight up kill that ship, with Gadget being with Zipper, and they have a bunch of kids together. It's about as weird as it sounds, and trust me, you're never going to get used to it no matter how hard they try to make you. They even got some of the voices back, at least for the higher pitched voices of Chip and Dale, and also Gadget. They for some reason got Eric Bana to play Monty, which is kind of crazy. I guess Peter Cullen was busy or something, I don't know. The animation is a little weird with how they do it. There's this thing where 2D characters can become 3D. It's made to make sense here because some characters went on to make those Disney live action remakes, so they should be in CGI now, like Baloo from Jungle Book. For Chip and Dale, it's made clear that Chip, Monty, Zipper, and Gadget stayed 2D while Dale went to become 3D, but Chip and the others are actually in a stylized 3D that's kinda odd, especially since a bunch of other characters are in traditional 2D. If I had to ponder a guess, I'd say it's because they would have looked off with Dale being in 3D CGI and Chip being in full traditional 2D. Like whenever they had to physically touch, it would be obvious that they're not touching properly.
Pause. What the fuck?
That sounds weird now, doesn't it? It would have been like the animation technique of bumping the lamp, but now on a regular basis, that's just my theory. There's good loads of cameos throughout this film. Not as extensive as Roger Rabbit, but enough to get a smile out of you. A lot of them either play into the plot or are just background characters. They do the thing where they get so many different properties that just makes you wonder, how the hell do they do that? There's one that you all been seeing around, and it's the ugly Sonic. You know, that dirty dish rag they tried giving everyone when the Sonic movie was first announced? What's weird is that he pops up multiple times in the film to the point that he's kinda important. At no point could anyone put that on their bingo card for this year. The story actually works pretty well with what they have. It's no murder mystery plot. You find out who did it before the halfway point, with it being Peter Pan. He's interesting with him as the villain since he's the beloved Disney version. Some equated him to the real actor who played him in the original Disney movie, with him getting older and being tossed out by Disney because he wasn't cute anymore, you know, at the time, and dying in the streets at a young age. But that was Disney back then and not Disney now. They're still not good, don't get me wrong, but that's not something they have control over today, but I digress. The only real mystery aspect of this film is involving a double agent, and you can put two and two together who it is pretty fast. They try to red herring it by leading you to think the choice they went with is too obvious, but they do it anyway. They even poke fun at the trope, so maybe you forgive it, or maybe you'll be a little irritated. The results may vary. There's also a case of Monty, Gadget, and Zipper getting the shaft. They're not seen for the grand majority of the movie, so fans of them are gonna be a bit hurt by that fact. The film still manages to work nonetheless, which is just so surreal. It's packed with a lot of references that animation fans are gonna love. The characters actually have a good arc that keeps you engaged with what's happening. There's a boatload of meta jokes and commentary throughout the whole thing that's bound to tickle your fancy as an animation fan. I'm pretty sure anyone who just loves animation is gonna have a ball with this film. It's honestly just a fun time all around for anyone, and something I'm sure even fans will love.